My name is Tom Cray. Originally I came from Stawell. I grew up at Deep Lead, just out of Stawell. We moved to Horsham back in 1973. I started my life as a motor mechanic down there, working on Fords, and got my A-grade ticket and came to Horsham to work as a vehicle examiner for the Transport Regulation Board. Sounds a bit of old history now, but that's changed to Road Traffic Authority, then changed to Vic Roads. So I spent 20 years on the road fairly much with enforcement, and the last 10 years I spent as a quality assurance person auditing Vic Roads contracts, road construction. Look, Horsham we found to be a friendly enough town that's got all of the facilities. People think it's stuck up here in the middle of nowhere, but you know, half an hour out the road and we're in the Grampians, we're up in the little desert. The fishing was good over the years. It's a fantastic place to live. What was interesting for me is that at a very early age, I decided that I wanted to have the option of an early retirement. And I lost a bit of eyesight later in my working life, and it highlighted very much giving me that option to pull the pin on work early to do other things. There's two aspects to early retirement, and one is being financially secure, but the other, of course, is having interests and something to do. And one story that sticks in my mind from years ago, we were on the New South Wales border, and I ran into a chap that I knew from Stawell, and he was driving a coach load of people. And I said, "What are you doing driving this?" Because I knew what his job had been for a lot of years. And he said, seriously, he looked at me and he said, "Tom, never retire." And I was a bit startled by that. And he said, "I was forced to retire at 65. I went home and I cut the grass. And the following morning I got up and there was no grass to cut." And he said, "I was shattered. I had nothing to do." And he said, "This job's saved my life." And I think it's interesting that if you're enjoying work and your colleagues and where you are, and if you have no interests outside of that, stay there. You don't go home and lie on the couch. But when we retired, we took an early retirement at 55. We got very active. We thought it was time to put a bit back into the community. I took on the role of the maintenance of our local church, and that was a pretty solid commitment. We also ran an oldies group for people to once a month to come in and have a guest speaker, and she took on 2 play groups and ran the play groups because of her background in childcare. So, and I used to help her with that. So that was a very active time of our lives, the first 10 years probably after retirement through to 65. There's a lot to do out there. But apart from that, my major passion is photography. And I've just got a couple of little books here that I've done over the years. And I photograph native orchids all over the countryside, and that's just a bit of a shot of some of my photography. And in the time since we've been retired in 15 years, I've photographed over 500 species of terrestrial orchids across Australia. So every year, apart from the last year with COVID, the last 2 years with COVID, we spend probably 3 months of the year caravanning. I think Australia is an amazing place, and we just have so much stuff. If you get out there and look and enjoy, it's just a magnificent country. Concerns me when I see the age of retirement being pushed up and up for people nowadays, and people think that at 55 you're too young to retire. But I look at the mountains we've climbed, the treks we've done, fairly vigorous, some of it. And at 55, we've just been so fit and able to do all of that. We've got to the other side of 70 now, and I'm finding that the few of the joints and things aren't working quite the same. And I find that, boy, if I was retiring late 60s, there's not a lot of time to do all the fun things and enjoy all the life that we've enjoyed.